Pancakes!
Hello everybody, Tim Pancakes here with King Karen the Bestie.
Officially on the throne.
Officially on the throne, and in this finale we wanted to do the final thoughts, and I'll also share a few other tidbits about the game. But Karen, let's just chat. How are you feeling?
Okay.
What did you like? Tell me everything you're thinking.
Um, so I really liked it. I thought it was super simple, but still very fun. And I like that there's multiple ways to complete one thing. Like, I could definitely feel the spirit of the game between 1 and 6. Like, even though they're vastly different,
Right.
I could definitely still tell that they're in the same family.
Oh, I love that. Are there things that stand out from this game?
You know, I think it's just a lot of fun. It got exciting when I could put like little fairy tales together, like, oh, I know what I need to do here because, or like I have an idea of what I need to do because I know, this story. And
Right. You're like, oh, I
that
have
was
some
really
magic beans. I
fun.
wonder what those are for.
Right, right. Um, and of course the animal friends. We had Gary and Veronica.
Mm-hmm.
I assume Gary went home.
Sure.
But I don't think he's in his pen, but that's okay. He's
Gary
flying
is
free.
free.
Gary is free. It actually, even though like it was very pixelated, it actually kind of helped a little bit, especially on the beanstalk, because I kept falling off. And I
Mm-hmm.
could say, okay, I could see literally square by square where I was. And so I could like manipulate where he was and know where to go easier,
Mm-hmm.
I think. On the flip side of that, it was so pixelated that I'm like, what is that? Am I supposed to pick that up?
Right.
I'm not sure what's going on here. So that,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, still for that time, as far as I know, it seems like it's a very detailed game for its time. I'm just excited to see the story progression because I've done 6, which is Alexander,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done 1, which is Graham, and Graham is Alexander's dad. Spoiler alert.
She knows because she recognized Graham's outfit in 6. But in the first time Graham was there, you're like, who's that?
Yeah.
Because it's like, who's this guy? We've never seen him before.
I know, right?
You know?
I know that hat.
Yes. His adventurer's cap.
And well, that moment was probably one of my favorite moments because I was sitting there and you're like, just keep thinking. And I was just sitting there letting the giant like
Face.
do weird things like behind the tree. And then he just fell asleep and I was like, oh,
Well,
okay. So I thought that was funny.
Swim up well. That's 4 points, and that's what we didn't do.
That's what, yeah. So I ended with 153, so that would have given me 157. And then I don't think
Yeah.
it gave me the point for opening the door at the end.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Maybe, I wonder if that's how I got, because I opened it twice at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, you did.
So maybe it gave me that point then.
Then I wonder what the other point is we're missing.
My guess is that the game must have just...
Yeah, so yet again, we know in our hearts.
We did it!
We did it. So what's the hardest puzzle, or what was like the thing that like, I helped you for a lot of it, but like what's something that you just know I never would have figured that out?
The bird.
Veronica. On the bird.
And one thing too, is that there was a lot of items that I collected that I didn't even use.
Right, yeah, you just collected the treasure to have them.
I almost have it. I just got the stuff now. And so I think that would have confused me so much. I would have been like, why didn't I use this? Why didn't I use it? Like,
yeah, coming from 6 to this one, I think for sure you're like, oh, well, I need to use this or save it. And so there were a few times where you're like, oh, I need to throw the walnut at the guy. And I'm like, no, you just keep the walnut. But I didn't want to tell you that.
No.
So which of the 3 treasures do you like the most, or did you have the most fun getting, or was the most rewarding to get?
Probably the mirror, because I feel like that was the puzzle that I figured out on my own the most. Like I figured out that I needed to dive on my own. Yeah. And I figured out that I need to throw the bucket of water on the dragon on my own. So I guess that's one thing. I felt like with this game, it was not as intuitive as King's Quest 6.
Any other final thoughts before I show you something that I wanted to show you?
I would just say, if you want a kind of a fun, easy little text game to play, definitely go ahead and play King's Quest 1. Sound off because ouch.
Okay, so I wanted to show you. I'll make it big. These are the graphics of the remake. Let me say that again.
Okay, so yeah, this is more like King's Quest 6.
Yeah, it's closer. So this was remade, I think, in 1990.
Okay.
They went through and you can tell that the graphics are a little bit different. I think it was still 158 points. We can see there in the corner, 158 points.
It looks like it's a mouse and more of the same methods as King's Quest 6.
Yeah, so it's very different.
Yeah.
And it would have been fun to do this, except...
Oh, wait, I want to see Gary.
Oh, okay. Whoops, let me back it up.
If you can. It's not a big deal.
No, it has to happen.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, Gary. I think I like playing the originals better, simply because it's like it's what it was originally. It was true experience. It's not of the time. It's a true experience of the time. And I think it's really fun for me. It was really fun to experience the text game version of that, because I was, by the time I started playing computer games, there was like Oregon Trail. So it wasn't, I think it was a bit before me to do the text game. So it's fun to experience them. It's like it's easier to climb the beanstalk.
Yeah, you just click around. I'm just going to show you. Hopefully this is okay. Adventure Game Geek is one of the YouTubers that I really like watching, and he has he just did King's Quest retrospectives. So I wanted to just kind of show you some of the footage. So this is I think the Sega.
Oh my gosh!
One of the games is a fan remake. So maybe that first one I showed you is a fan-made game, and then this one was more of the official one.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to show you the different graphics. Oh, and here there's like crazy people. It's not just you and the king, and it's like, no, I promise, he totally let me be the king.
He told me. I didn't kill him. I brought him the stuff, and he got up and died.
So I do like that. There was some attention to some of those details. So shout out to the Adventure Game Geek. Karen, definitely go check out some of those videos. I'll send you links for them. And I'll link them down below just to give him some love. All right, an official remake titled Roberta Williams' King's Quest 1 Quest for the Crown was released in 1990. An unofficial remake was released by Tierra Entertainment, and this is Sierra Games. So Tierra is kind of like a parody, I guess. That was released in 2001. So the first one that had the little walking guy who was a mini Graham, that is the 2001 fan-made unofficial remake.
Oh, okay. Then that makes sense as to why it looked so much like King's Quest 6. Because all that was already in place, and it seemed like they just remade it to update.
To look like that and everything.
Okay.
The 1990
I mean, the graphics
remake,
on that were great.
Absolutely. And even in
it was cool, but...
Even in the 1991, where it had the dragon looking a little bit different, the third time I showed you the dragon, that was in the Adventure Game Geeks footage. That one was the 1990 remake. We're back. Karen and I realized in the conclusion of King's Quest 1 that we did not mention a few things in our finale episode. For example, we still have to rank the pack. For example, we still have to rank the game. So before we get to that, Karen, there's one thing I wanted to read to you that's about the lore of King's Quest 1, okay? So I know we talked about how there are different versions of the game, and they came out at different years and everything. If you think back to the very beginning, King Edward, he mentioned, I'm aware of 3 magical treasures, right? So these treasures that happen to be existing in this world for us to rescue. Well, Roberta Williams, who created King's Quest, later wrote this story, which I'm going to read to you. And this kind of, it retcons the story a little bit. So it changes the 3 treasures. Instead of just existing out in the world and your quest is to go and find them, they actually originally belonged to Daventry and had been stolen. And so Graham's
Ah,
quest is to go and retrieve the treasures, which makes a little bit more sense.
yeah.
So I wanted to read that to you just to really give you the full backstory. And then after that, I want to rank the game.
Okay.
I pulled this from the King's Quest Omnipedia, which I will link below. But it sounds like it's also in your guide. What's it called? The manual?
The manual. Yep.
Perfect. So this is available to questers, but I wanted to read it to you. So it was written by Roberta Williams, so it is canon. A long, long time ago, when unicorns still roamed the forests and the merfolk still dwelt in the shallow waters frequented by men, there ruled in the kingdom of Daventry King Edward and his lovely queen. The people of Daventry were prosperous and happy, and everywhere peace reigned. But the king and queen were sad because they were childless. They had no son to inherit the throne, nor a daughter to gladden their hearts. Because a woman can't inherit the throne. One bright sunny day, King Edward the Benevolent, for so he was called, and his queen were walking in the castle garden when suddenly before them appeared a powerful sorcerer. I know your problem, and I can cast a spell that will bring you a child, he said. Oh, great sorcerer, if you can help us, we will be everlastingly grateful, said the queen. We will bestow upon you many honors and great riches, said the king. I have no use for honors or riches. My payment will not be so great. All I ask in return is the mahogany-framed mirror that hangs in your private chamber. The sorcerer's words gave them pause, for that mirror was priceless. It had the power to read the future, and help to keep Daventry prosperous. The royal couple used it to foretell the weather for planting and harvest, as had the kings and queens before them. It had been hundreds of years since a crop had been planted before the last frost, or had been ruined by autumn rain. What the sorcerer desired was indeed valuable. The king and queen retired to their chamber to consult the magic mirror. King Edward and his wife gazed into the mirror's depths and saw a young princely figure with a gold crown upon his head. Imagining the youth to be the son they yearned for, the royal couple gladly bestowed the mirror upon the sorcerer. He took it to his dwelling, where he set one of his beasts to guard over it. The months passed, and the queen did not conceive a child. For the first time in 400 years, Daventry lost the harvest to an early autumn rainstorm. The king and queen wept, and everyone tightened their belts. Instead of having excess produce to sell to neighboring kingdoms, the people of Daventry had to supplement their stores with food bought elsewhere. With famine came the dreaded plague, and the queen was stricken. For 3 days she lay in the grip of a great fever, and Edward maintained a constant vigil by her side. On the 4th day of the queen's illness, a diminutive figure pushed his way between the legs of the castle guards. I have a cure for the queen, he claimed. Quickly, the courtiers ushered him into the queen's chambers, where the king despaired. I have traveled a great distance to bring relief to your dear wife. This powerful root, known only to the dwarves, will cure any plague. The dwarf leaned over the queen and touched the root to her lips. Her eyes fluttered open, and she smiled at Edward. The queen's attendants looked at each other in wonderment. Only a touch revived her, they whispered. Imagine how fast she will recover when given the whole root. Ask any reward for this miraculous gift, O small one, exclaimed King Edward. I ask in repayment the shield left to you by your father when he died, said the dwarf softly. The king paled at the thought. The shield, made of titanium and set with emeralds, was traditionally carried in battle by the ruler of Daventry. Legend held that he who bore the shield was invincible, and his army always victorious. Thus there had been no successful attack on the kingdom of Daventry for over 500 years. Ask again, little man. I will give you your weight in gold, but please do not ask for the shield, said the king. You do not appear to value your wife's life, your highness, said the dwarf. I will take no other reward than that which I have requested. Haughtily he turned to go. Come back, Edward called. I'll give you the shield. The dwarf took the shield and secreted it away in a hole in the ground in the way of the dwarves. The queen partook of the root, but to no avail. She worsened and died. Daventry's church bells tolled the morning, and the king vowed vengeance against the false dwarf. Years passed, and the news of the loss of the shield spread. Armies attacked the weakened Daventry, and the king went out to lead his armies without the shield. Never before did they have the need of the mirror to foretell enemy moves. Now that too was gone. Many years passed, and the king was very lonely. One day, while out riding with his courtiers, Edward came upon a pack of wolves tearing at the lower limbs of a big tree. When the group approached, the wolves scattered to reveal a beautiful young woman perched in the tree. She descended regally. "I thank you for the rescue, kind sirs. I am the Princess Dahlia of Cumberland. I was traveling through this land when a pack of wolves fell upon my group. My bodyguard fled in terror from their fangs, leaving me quite alone. I owe you my life and my heartfelt gratitude." The king was charmed with the Princess Dahlia and brought her back to his castle to visit. He felt new life coursing through his veins, and he knew it was because he had met someone who might fill the loneliness left by his late queen. In due time, Edward asked Dahlia to marry him, and she accepted. The people of Daventry were wildly excited at the prospect of a new queen, and hopeful again of an heir, and made preparations for a glorious wedding celebration. On the night before the wedding, when the air was thick with toasts and merriment, Princess Dahlia bid Edward good night. He never noticed her hand stealing up to his belt, extracting the ring of keys hanging there. Much later, the royal treasurer approached the king with alarming news. He had discovered the treasury door standing open, with the king's own key in the lock. The Princess Dahlia had been inside, holding a small chest of gold. The treasurer stood frozen to the spot. The princess's bright laughter changed to a witch's cackle as her form grew old and withered. She grasped the chest and mounted her broom to fly out the open window. The treasurer watched in dismay as she swooped up through the clouds and disappeared. When the king heard the news, he wept in despair. That chest was magic, and the last great treasure remaining in Daventry. No matter how much was taken from it, the chest always remained brimful with golden coins. Without the chest, he could buy no more food, pay no more soldiers. Many more years passed, and Daventry grew poor and weak. King Edward was old and feeble, and saw that his end was near. Fearing that the country would fall into even greater discord when he died, he sent for his favorite knight, Sir Graham. "You are the bravest and truest knight in my kingdom, Sir Graham. Long ago I envisioned your form in my magic mirror, and thought I was seeing my son and heir. The years have proven me at least half wrong, but the prophecy may yet be fulfilled. To prove yourself worthy of my crown, I command you to journey out into the world and retrieve the 3 great treasures taken from Daventry by treachery and stealth. Succeed in this great quest, and you shall become king upon my death. Fail, and our beautiful Daventry will grow ever weaker until it is invaded and conquered by unfriendly nations. This I promise by all that is honorable and right. May you return victorious, Sir Graham." So that is the new origin story for King's Quest. What do you think?
I like it. It gives context. It's a good background story.
Yeah, because we had the wolf and we had the sorcerer and we had the witch, and so it's like, okay, these creatures, how do they fit in? And so I love that she did go back and update that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and rank the game.
Okay.
Not necessarily comparing it to King's Quest 6, because when we ranked that one, we didn't have anything to compare it to. So let's try to think of it as a standalone experience. What are you thinking?
I would say it's a solid 5.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe with this background, a 6.
Mm-hmm.
Bump it up a bit. It's not a big storyline. It's just kind of I would say, more of a checklist style thing. I do like that it's a text game. I think that adds a layer of fun that, it's like that retro thing that I think people would enjoy, especially those who didn't grow up playing that.
Mm-hmm.
I like the challenge of figuring stuff out and having to kind of use logic and maybe a bit of like the trying stuff out and like you're gonna have to restore. There's still like that you can get into an unwinnable state.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that the parts where like you could still move forward, but you may have lost points because you didn't do the best thing. But yeah, you can move forward.
You can move forward. Yeah, I agree. I think I would also rank it probably with this backstory a 6. I was thinking, you know, I'm gonna do 5 just because. Yeah, I'm gonna do 5. I think.
Yeah.
For its time, it was revolutionary. And if you know what you're doing and playing with a walkthrough, it can be done in half an hour. It took us a lot longer, but that's neither here nor there. But so I mean, it can be a quick experience. I just think that, you know, the story is what drives it for me, and it's neat that he's sent on the quest to find these things, but and the story does help with that. The backstory does.
Yeah.
But I still think a 5 for me. So
yeah, I think I'll stick with the 5, considering that the background story is after. But that being said, the story does make me more excited about the game.
Yeah, exactly. And you still enjoyed the game without having the backstory. So I think it stands on its own. We both ranked King's Quest 6 a 9, and we're both ranking King's Quest 1 a 5. That's a good place to wrap up, so thank you so much for watching.
And that's a stack.
I think I initially planned on us filming this another day, so I didn't prepare for it today. Otherwise I would have had all my details.
That's okay, that just meant that you didn't assign me homework of thinking of
That's right.
comments
And I figured,
today.
okay, I'm not going to ask you to do that, so...